Party started to do much better and is doing much better in the polls. What do you make of that? What lessons have you learned?
I have consistently said for many years now that as we approach an election, as Canadians actually reflect on the choice being offered to them between a party that has governed this country responsibly, created a strong economy that has the best balance sheet of the G7, lifted hundreds of thousands of kids out of poverty, created jobs, protected the environment, stepped up on fighting climate change in partnership with Indigenous peoples, moved forward on reconciliation, have been responsible and ambitious for this country, versus a party in the Conservatives that just shrug and say everything's broken, that don't believe in taking action against climate change, that don't believe in Indigenous reconciliation, that don't understand that the only way to build a strong economy is to invest in the people that actually make up that economy. The Conservatives continue to push trickle-down theories and tax breaks for the rich while couching it in the language of populism. I've said consistently for years now that as Canadians get closer to actually making a decision about the kind of country they want to live in, the kind of responsible government they want to have, with ambition but grounded in facts and evidence and data, not ideology, that Canadians would take a very careful look at what the different parties are offering and make a responsible choice about moving forward in the right way for Canada at a time where the world is increasingly uncertain and we need thoughtful, rational governance here in Canada. Are focused on one thing, making sure that come Tuesday and for the weeks that follow, there are no tariffs imposed on Canada. The tariffs that the President speaks of for next week are centered around the fentanyl crisis that they're facing in the United States, but that we are also facing in Canada. And for months now, I've been emphasizing that less than 1% of the fentanyl that arrives in the United States comes from Canada. But we know that even that 1% or less than 1% should be reduced, which is why we've invested $1.3 billion in strengthening our border capacities with Black Hawk helicopters, with drones, with 10,000 people patrolling our borders and keeping Canadians and Americans safe. And we will continue, as we are this week, with ministers and heads of agencies, including the Commissioner of the RCMP and the head of the CBSA and our fentanyl czar down in Washington to demonstrate that this is an issue that we should be working together on and that Canada is not the source of problems for the United States. We will continue to do that work and do everything necessary to avoid these tariffs coming in, but like I said, if on Tuesday there are unjustified tariffs brought in on Canada, we will have an immediate and extremely strong response, as Canadians expect.
Mr. Carney had said that the economy was weak before the tariffs, pointing to a surge in immigration and high spending over the last 5 years. He was an advisor to you in that period. Did he advise against either of those things?
As you know, we have outstanding people stepping up to lead the Liberal Party and continue the important work that we've been doing, but also meet the new challenges that the world keeps throwing at Canada with alarming regularity these days, if we're to be honest. So I have tremendous confidence, not just in the people stepping forward to lead this great party and this great country, but in the choice that Canadians will make, first Liberals in choosing the next leader, but then all Canadians in picking a direction for this country. There is a moment right now to highlight the values that Canada believes in, the ambition that we have for an economy where everyone has a real and fair chance to succeed, an economy that, quite frankly, is the strongest in the G7, is among the strongest in the G7 right now, with the lowest debt to GDP ratio of all G7 partners, and a outstanding credit score, AAA credit rating from the international bond rating agencies. We are committed to a brighter future for Canada, and we'll push back against anyone who says that Canadians are broken or Canada is broken. There's always more work to do, but we're all about rolling up our sleeves and getting it done.
There's the apology to Inuit families, first pharmacare deal, and your announcement today. What are you still hoping to complete?
The thing that makes Canada the best country in the world isn't that it's perfect, it's that every single day we commit ourselves to the idea that we can be even better than we already are. There is so much more to do in Canada, so much so that sometimes we don't adequately take a moment to pause and reflect on just how much we have accomplished over the past decades and generations as a country. But there's always more to do. And every single day I get to continue to be Prime Minister, I'm going to look to do everything I can to make this country even better, because that's the promise I made to Canadians when I became leader of the Liberal Party back in 2013. And that's a promise that I have stuck with every single day I've had the privilege of serving as Prime Minister. So I'm not slowing down, not for a minute.
Donald Trump's top advisors, Peter Navarro, reportedly said Canada should be kicked out of the Five Eyes intelligence alliance and that the border with Canada should be redrawn. Has Donald Trump raised either of those issues in your conversations with him?
In terms of the security partnership between Canada, the United States, and our other Five Eyes partners, the UK, New Zealand, and Australia, we've been working together on sharing intelligence and keeping our citizens, but also democracies around the world, safe since World War II. It is a partnership that has benefited all of our countries deeply. Canada has one of the best cybersecurity centers in the world in our communication security establishment. We contribute actively to keeping our partners and ourselves safe, and we will continue to do that. I think the advisor in question publicly explained that that was not on the table, and it is totally understandable that it not be on the table because Canadians and Americans and our allies around the world have been working extraordinarily well together to keep our citizens safe, and we will continue to do that.